Hello world! Do you know what I'm up to today? I was just looking for a simple escape, a quiet coastal hike on a spare afternoon in the Costa Brava. I've heard about the Camino de la Ronda, this ancient network of paths that hugs the wild coastline, and I was picturing a rustic, windswept trail over the cliffs. A simple walk, but let me tell you, what I found on this particular 2-kilometer path in Sagaro was something entirely different. It was a perfectly designed journey through 100 years of history, through unbelievable beauty and into a side of the Costa Brava I never knew existed. I thought I was just going for a hike, but accidentally stumbled upon what might just be the most beautiful coastal walk in all Spain. And it all kicks off right here, on the soft golden sand of Sant Pol Beach of Sagaro. Do you wanna find out more? Let's go! Sant Pol Beach is this beautiful, gracefully curved bay that has its own long history. For centuries, this was the go-to seaside port for all the inland towns, a place for fishermen and eventually for the first brave sunbathers. Today, it's just pure, gentle elegance, with colorful little beach huts lining the sand and stylish restaurants looking out at the calm turquoise water. This is where our walk begins, right where the sand meets a beautifully paved promenade. Now, the Camino de Ronda, or the round path as they say, has a pretty fascinating and slightly gritty past. These trails weren't originally made for tourists. First, they were used by fishermen who needed to hop from cove to cove, and later, more famously, by the Guardia Civil, the Spanish police, who patrolled the coastline looking out for smugglers. They were watching for people trying to bring in illegal stuff like tobacco under the cover of darkness. So it was a route of surveillance, of heavy boots on dusty tracks, but the path I'm stepping onto today feels a world away from that. It's been totally transformed. In 1996, this specific stretch was declared a cultural asset of national interest, which tells you how special it is, this unique blend of nature and human creativity. As I leave the main beach, the path immediately clues you in that there is no ordinary coastal trail. The walkway is wide, perfectly kept, and flanked by lush, manicured gardens. You can smell the pine and salt in the air, but you also get the sweet scent of flowers. There is an immediate sense of order, of real intention here. It feels less like a wild hiking trail and more like the grand entrance to some exclusive estate. I'm starting to get it. This walk wasn't just preserved. It was designed, and the story of the design starts with one person's incredible vision. But meanwhile, let's enjoy the landscapes, these magnificent views, those incredible marine landscapes, and the breeze, the sense of liberty and sunshine, and endless summer. So, that vision belonged to a man named José Pensesa, and it all started back in 1916 when his father, an industrialist from Girona, got a hold of this barren, rocky piece of land as a payment for a debt. It was seen as a pretty much worthless thing. But his son, Josep Encesa y Jubert, saw something totally different, and in the 1920s, inspired by the Garden City movement happening in Europe, he dreamed of creating an elegant, harmonious community, a world away from mass tourism. He brought in the well-known architect Rafael Masó, a major figure in the Catalan Nouvecentisme movement, which was all about order, clarity, and classic Mediterranean style. And all together they created Sagaro, with those beautiful buildings. But still, despite all the abundance of buildings, you can still enjoy this pristine nature, the cliffs, the rocky shores, and this wind, tramontana, just running through the hair and giving you the sense of summer, the sense of jasmine and pine trees and salty sea salt. It's really a tremendous feeling to be able to enjoy this beautiful scenery. This is one of my favorite places in whole Spain, I would say. In the spots like this, the raw natural beauty of the Costa Brava takes over, but it's a beauty that's been perfectly framed. In this huge viewpoint, you are having breathtaking views. The coastline drops off into these dramatic rocky cliffs, and the Mediterranean below is a stunning mix of every shade of blue you can imagine. From pale turquoise near the shore to a deep, dark sapphire further out. But it's the little details that really grab me. All along the cliffs, pine trees are clinging to the rock, their branches twisted into amazing shapes. These are just any old trees. They are not. They look like living sculptures, shaped over decades by the fierce tramontana wind that blows down from the Pyrenees. Some look like they're dancing, others are bent at impossible angles, showing just how resilient they are. It's a powerful reminder of nature's own artistry. Okay, meanwhile we keep on walking, enjoying the beautiful day, although it's the holiday, there are not so many people. Look at this structure, this ring, it's actually the anchor for the boat, the way they attach the boat so it doesn't get washed away by the waves. Isn't it interesting? And this is the special platform for the boat to go inside the water, and a small, beautiful, pebbly beach. You can see it here. As for the path itself, it is a real masterpiece. It follows the coastline with total respect for the natural landscape. Elegant, white-walled mansions from the 20s to the 50s are perched on the cliffs, built for Barcelona's upper class who came here for the summer. But they aren't just showy displays of wealth. They're designed for the Novecentista style with terracotta roofs, arched porches and layouts that are in constant conversation with nature. Because here you have the beach, right? And just up the hill you have the mansions and people. They're just living in the constant contact with the nature. It's really amazing how everything is blended and merged together in such a harmonious and uniform way. Look how the sea is peaceful today. No waves. It's just totally still. Like I've said, these buildings don't dominate the landscape. They're part of it. Every window, every terrace is perfectly placed to capture a view and blend the inside with the outside. This walk is basically a living museum of an architectural idea that tried to create paradise by mixing human design with the natural world. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I wish I could stay there forever. Just my element, my ambience, this beautiful scenery, the blues, the greens, this beautiful nature. And then I see it, the centerpiece of the entire walk, the image that defines Sagaro, the Glorieta, a stunning circular gazebo on the Plaza de Mirador. It's made of 8 elegant columns holding up a small roof, all crafted from travertine stone. It's pure classical elegance, a small temple built for the sea itself. Standing here is one of those moments that feels a little surreal. The clean lines of the columns perfectly frame the endless blue of the Mediterranean. The sun warms the pale stone, and the sound of the waves below creates this deep sense of peace. It is without a doubt one of the most romantic and photogenic spots on the entire Costa Brava. It's more than just a viewpoint, it's just the philosophical heart of Sagaro. It's the perfect expression of those novecentista ideals, order, beauty, and respect for the landscape. I totally get why this is a must-see for every visitor. It's a place that just asks you to pause, breathe, and be in awe. Right now, I want to show you one of the hidden coves and geological wonders of Sagaro. Carved into the cliffs are the stone staircases, and each one leads down to a tiny secluded cove. I take my time and explore a few of them. For instance, each cove has its own vibe, I would say. Some are sheltered by dramatic cliffs, while others have flat, sun-drenched rocks that are perfect for sunbathing away from the crowds. This part of the walk feels like a real discovery. Unlike the big crowded beaches, these coves feel like a special reward for anyone who takes the time to wander down the steps. It's also down here that you can really appreciate the geology of the Costa Brava. The tourism board calls this path an open-air museum, and they're not wrong. The rock faces show layers of history, different colors and textures that tell a story of millions of years old. You can see the hard granite that gives the wild coast its name. You can feel the incredible age of the land under your feet. Looking out to sea, I can also spot markers from the Via Brava, a 2-kilometer open water swimming route that runs alongside the path, an invitation for strong swimmers to see the coast from a totally different angle. For me, just sitting on a rock, in one of these quiet coves, with only the sound of the waves, is all the bench I need. It's a moment of pure calm. It's amazing how a place can be so famous and yet still feel like it's full of secrets. It really makes me wonder what other hidden gems are out there. What's the most beautiful, unexpected place you've ever stumbled upon in your travels? Tell me. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories, guys. And if you're enjoying this little journey, maybe think about subscribing to the channel for more escapes to incredible places like this. As I climb back to the main path, I think about the word exclusive. Sagaro was built to be an exclusive place for the wealthy, and it definitely still has this aristocratic vibe. But then I learned something that completely changes how I see this walk. This specific Cami de Ronda is the only one on the entire Costa Brava with a specifically adapted section for people with reduced mobility. An elevator gives access to the most scenic part of the route, from the Punta del Pau viewpoint to the famous gazebo and beyond. It's really cool. This detail really gets to me. It shows a different kind of version. Yes, Sagaro is about beauty and elegance, but it's also about sharing the beauty. The path is wide, the surface is smooth, and the design is intentionally exclusive and inclusive. It's a deliberate choice to make sure this incredible experience isn't just for the able-bodied, but for everyone. It proves that exclusive doesn't have to mean exclusionary. The last part of the walk starts its gentle descent toward our destination, Conca Beach. The feel of the path changes a little bit here. The perfectly manicured gardens give way to a more natural pine forest. but the way stays just as wide as inviting. As I come around a final bend, the cove opens up in front of me, and the breathtaking sight of coarse golden sand and ridiculously turquoise water. I will just show you right now what I mean. You will see everything. Sa Conca is a bigger beach than Sant Pol, about 400 meters long, and it feels a bit wilder. It's famously split into two sections by a big rock called the Loggia de Senya. The main beach is a perfect crescent of sand, while the smaller part, Cala del Orizos, is named for the sea urchins you can find on its rocky bottom. The water here is known for being incredibly clean and clear and making it a great spot for snorkeling. Looking out at the beach, which has been a backdrop for a bunch of films, I can see why it's perfect endpoint. There are services here, a restaurant, sunbeds and lifeguards in the summer, but it still holds out onto its natural beauty, tucked between the green hills and the blue sea. Getting to this beach doesn't feel like an ending, but more like the perfect reward for the journey. It's a place to finally kick off your shoes, feel the sand between your toes, and maybe even take a swim in that amazing water. And look how beautifully they made a support for this pine tree. Just help the tree to survive and to live for more years. Friends, right now looking back on my hike today, I understand it was a curated experience, a story told through stone gardens and sea views. It's a place where you can feel the ambition of Josep and Cesar's dream, the elegance of Rafael Masso's architecture, and the timeless wild power of Mediterranean. What makes this walk in Sagaro so special is this perfect, almost impossible balance. Thanks so much for joining me today on this incredible escape to Sagaro. If this journey inspired you, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, keep exploring. Love you all. See you next week. Bye bye. Adeu.